Hi guys, and welcome to today's podcast. We have Olivia, also known as Y2KSD on Instagram. I've personally always known you as Alchemy Skin Dallas. I think that would be a fun conversation to ask just where that came from. Like, when did the switch happen?
I've always wanted to be like the Y2KSD. I've actually been like debating on changing my name for like 6 months. And I'm in this SD group chat and I was like, what do you guys think if I changed my name to like the Y2KSD? And they're like, I love it. I love it. I love it. And then I didn't do it because I'm like, well, everyone knows me as Alchemy Skin. Like, is it going to confuse people? And then I don't even know, like something clicked one day and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to change it. And I got so much feedback on it. I mean, like my DMs were like flooding, like love the new username, so much more your vibe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think it was received really well.
Awesome. Yeah. I think I've seen your page like kind of evolve. I feel like I've seen you just have such different content since I've been following you. Yeah. And I feel like your name like matches your brand so much. Like, what is the inspiration for your whole branding?
I have always loved like the 90s and like the early 2000s. And the funny thing is I was born in 1997, but my sister was born in 1990 and she's 7 years older than me, and it's just her and I. And so like whatever songs she was listening to, I was listening to. Whenever she started wearing makeup, I wanted to look just like her outfits, everything. And so I think I got that like Y2K vibe from her. And I don't know, maybe it was like a happy time in my life. It just always stuck with me. The Juicy Couture, the Care Bears, all the things that are Y2K, they just make me happy. And I don't know, it just stuck with me.
That's so fun. So as far as like your whole branding goes, and I see that you do like a lot of graphics. I see you're wearing like a chain. I see that a lot on your Instagram. How do you make a graphic like that for your Instagram?
I used to do it myself. And then eventually I had to outsource because it was just so time consuming. Yeah. And when I started my Instagram, I don't know how long you've been following me, but it was like the light pink, neutral sort of, because everyone and their dog was doing it. And so I just thought like that was what was well received. And it took, I think it might have been like after I had my second child or maybe after I had Steele and I was pregnant with Stone, I just was like, this isn't me. Yeah. And I don't know. It's just like, I think I had like a creative block for a while, like a good 4-month period. Yeah. And I was like, why can I not like think of any graphics to do? And it's because I wasn't being authentically myself.
Yeah. I think it's really in the beginning, you're trying to figure out your branding and like who you are and like what makes you happy. And content creation is so time consuming. So like giving you that fire and that fuel to have something to like look forward to is super awesome. I mean, I had the light pink era for a really long time. I used to have like my Skin by Victoria page and it was literally all pink and it just got so boring. So I think that's so fun that you've been able to like grow with your brand. And I mean, I always say that you're such a different person than like you're ever going to be like in 3 years, like you could have a completely different opinion on something like a year ago, or you feel a certain way, and it's okay to change. Totally. It's okay to evolve with like who you are and like your whole branding on Instagram. Now, as far as the whole branding goes, how has that changed for you with like clients? Have clients noticed anything differently?
They love it. And you know how it's so cliche, but like your vibe attracts your tribe. Yeah. No, truly it does. And now the clients that I bring in from Instagram, they are like, oh, I loved like your vibe. And then I saw the before and afters and like it made me want to book with you. And so the people that I attract on Instagram, like I would genuinely be friends with.
That's amazing.
You know what I think it was too, is once I started following Macy, Mace by Mace, and she inspired me to be my true self too. Cause I was like, I'm all over the place. I love Care Bears. I love purple. I love holographic. I love Bratz dolls. Like, how does this relate to skincare? And so I didn't know if people would get it. And so if you like dig through my Instagram and go to my old posts, you can see the real Y2KSD like clawing, trying to come out. And I like suppressed it. And then I started following Macy and I was like, she's all over the place too, but somehow it's cohesive. And so I booked a branding call with her and she like took my entire brain and she like put it on a cohesive platter that made sense. She was like, your brand is just you. I totally understand who you are. Yeah. And your brand should just be an extension of yourself. You don't need to create a brand. You are your brand. And so that actually really inspired me to like be my true self.
Yeah. And I think it's really important in the treatment room for it to make it for you to be happy in the treatment room is what I'm trying to say. And like when you are constantly like in the treatment room and you have clients coming in, it's kind of miserable if you're not like in a happy space with the type of clientele that you want, right?
100%.
I feel like that was probably like so relieving for you to finally be able to be yourself and be able to like have clients. Have you always had clients that like you resonate with, or did you notice a big switch when you changed your branding?
I always attracted clients that really resonated with me, just because I've always been an oversharer, and which I love that about myself. I am an open book. Like I share really raw birth footage. It's something else I'm really passionate about. It doesn't really fully make sense with my brand, but I don't care. I love to share it. And I've gotten like so many messages too about like, you've inspired me to have a home birth, you know, and stuff like that. So I think just being an oversharer, people trust me more. And if I don't like a product, I will genuinely share that this didn't work out for me. I'm not going to carry it. Even if it's a line that I carry, there's always going to be like 1 or 2 products that you don't love. So sharing that, or just being like completely honest on your page, like people trust you, and they trust me. No, I see your stories all the time, and it is so true. Like you're so raw and transparent. Like, I mean, even I just saw you post about your, like your pregnancy and just your whole experience. And like, I just love that about you, because it's something that, I mean, that's why people relate to you, or they're vulnerable with you and they will trust you, is when you share that part of your life. That's something that I like. I share a lot like in the treatment room, but I could definitely be better. That's why I'm saying like, people like you are inspiring for other people in the industry, that like you just share it, you don't care. And it's like, it's nice to have people like that in the industry. Now talking about skincare products, I know that you carried Skin Better at one point. Now you're like huge with Zoe. Yep. How do you say it? How do you pronounce it? Because I say Zio. I say Zio. Yeah. It might be Zoe. I don't know. I know. I had a client that was like, I'm using Zoe, and I'm like, okay. And I said it to her later. I was like, oh yeah, so I see you're using the Zio cleanser. And she's like, it's Zoe. I'm like, I'm sorry. I've always heard it as that. Who knows? But anyways, I know, again, you carried Skin Better, and now you carry, do you still carry Skin Better? I have a few things still on my shelf, but I won't be repurchasing. I think the thing that I love is the Tone Smart Compact. Okay. Yeah. But other than that, everything else I could live without. Why did you switch from Skin Better to Zio? Okay. So this is kind of interesting. I carried Skin Better for years because it was like, you know, when you start off in the industry, you look up to a lot of people, and it can be easy to say, oh, I really respect so-and-so. She really loves this brand. So therefore I know it's good. Like I didn't even need to try it. Like I know it's good. And that's kind of what happened with Skin Better. Savannah put it on the map. Everyone else got it. And it just became like the most overhyped skincare line. Doesn't mean it's not good. I'm not saying Skin Better is not good. It's a wonderful brand. But I definitely brought it on because it was so sought after by everybody. And my clients got good results with it. But seeds were planted throughout the years. First of all, I follow Emily Kaiser on TikTok. She always has her Get Ready With Me's, and she was using Zio. And I was like, can't be that bad, because Zio is the most slandered skincare line in our industry. Yeah. It is. More so amongst estheticians, not so much on the injector side, which is very interesting. But that seed was planted because I saw her skin. I was like, I always thought it looked better than mine. So it can't be that bad, right? Filed that away. And then I was talking to my friend who is an injector at a really big med spa in Dallas. And there's a team of like 5 injectors and 8 estheticians. Okay. They carry Elastin, Revision, Skin Better, Color Science, Zio, you name it, they've got it. Okay. And these girls can have any wholesale skincare that they want. So if you want an unbiased opinion, just want to preface it with that. Okay. They call Skin Better Skin Worse there. Like that's literally their little nickname for it. They love Zio. So I was like, that's really interesting. Okay. Filed that away. A couple months later, I was like, you know, I've never actually tried it. Yet anytime I'm asked about it, I'm like, oh, I've just heard it's like really aggressive, and they just have a really aggressive approach. It can tear up your skin barrier, And I decided, something clicked one day, and I was like, I'm going to try it. And if I mess up my skin barrier, I can fix it. And so I just want to formulate my own opinion. And so I did. And I just have to pull this up. I actually screenshotted this before I came here. Is it a before and after? This was my skin on my $2,000 Skin Better regimen.
Okay.
texture, whatever, normal skin. This was after 2 months of using just 3 Zio products.
Oh my gosh. It's like glass.
So after that happened, I was like, I fully jumped on the Zio train, and I was like, I have to shed light on this. I have to tell people that it doesn't suck.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's amazing. And I think that we all, like, what were the biggest, like, what are the products that you're using, those 3 products that you use for your skin?
The cleanser, the gentle cleanser, the polish, which is the slushy scrub
that
I always talk about, and the toner pads.
Okay. And
Those
what were you
3
using
products.
from Skin Better? Were you using like the full regimen,
Whole
basically?
kitchen sink.
Wow.
You name it. If it was in the line, I was using it.
Yeah. So I'm hearing exfoliating the skin, right? So exfoliating the dead skin. And then, so those are the 3 main products that you would say that gives like that glass skin appearance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I do think that Skin Better could like have a little bit better of kind of like a polish. Like I know that they have the detox scrub, but that's so interesting.
It's not as gritty. So it doesn't feel like you're getting that exfoliation, and they mainly focus on chemical exfoliation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think it's so interesting. I mean, you're right. Like I personally, I've tried literally like that scrub. Everyone loves that polish. It's like, it is really good. But I personally, like, I just have not seen, like I always just see it slandered in the esthetician community. So I was so curious, are there any other products that you incorporate with that line with Zio?
Right now, yes. I really love the Phyto Serum from SkinCeuticals, and I love their vitamin C.
Yeah.
10 out of 10, both of those products. All of their Phyto products from SkinCeuticals are phenomenal, but I think the number one thing for me is their vitamin C.
Okay.
I don't carry it.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why people trust me, because if I don't carry it and I love it, I'm still going to tell you.
Totally.
And I think it's so important to share makeup products that you love, just anything in your lifestyle that's good, or products in the industry that you don't carry but you still love.
Yeah.
And it really does make people trust you more. But yes, I love SkinCeuticals.
Yeah, I actually just talked to an esthetician on my podcast, and she is actually a big SkinCeuticals like fanatic, and that's another brand I feel like gets a bad rep in the esthetician community. And I've actually been like super curious to try like their vitamin C. It's so funny that you mentioned that, because it's always been like slandered of like vitamin C's, and I've only ever used like Skin Better, truthfully, because it's the only one that has worked for my skin. Now everybody has different opinions, obviously, but I mean, I just love the fact that you're like, it is what it is, and like that's what resonates with you, and that like you're one of the first people I feel like in the aesthetics community to like rave about Zio, and I love that. As far as skin barrier, I know that people talk about a lot. I
can explain
with Zio, so I want to hear a little bit about that.
The products that will give you that anticipated reaction and that redness and that irritation is the retinols. Yeah, they're intense, but the thing is, you can walk, jog, or sprint to your results. Yep. You don't have to go balls to the walls and use their retinol every single night. What I like to do is I like to get them on the core Zio products, which are the 3 products I was telling you about, for at least 2 weeks to a month, and then incorporate the retinol. They can use it 2 to 3 times a week, and a couple weeks go by, use it another night, and then slowly build up to using it every single night. And I hear a lot of people say it's about, it's better to use like a lower strength retinol or whatever every night than use a stronger one sometimes, but you do work up to using it every night. And I just got a text from a client this morning who was like, once I got past the redness, and she decided on her own to go balls to the walls. I'm always upfront with people, and she was like, I don't care if it makes me red or irritated. I'm gonna go for it. And she texted me this morning. She goes, once I got used to it, it's my ride or die. Like my face is completely clear. The acne retinol that they just came out with. Oh my gosh,
that's incredible.
So I just wanted to add in, if you avoid the retinol, like if you don't want that anticipated reaction, you don't have to have that Zio anticipated reaction. Okay. Use Alpharet and use the core Zio products and whatever other products that you want from the Zio line. Yeah. You're not going to get that irritation as long as you're not using the retinol.
Definitely. So what I'm hearing is that the bad reputation of Zio is essentially they're just doing the exfoliate till you kind of rip your skin off method.
I think it's more like that, but also lack of guidance from the esthetician. A lot of estheticians that work with Zio, they don't carry it. They work at a med spa that does. And so they're like trying to sell a bunch of products, and maybe they didn't get proper training. And some clinics do have a more aggressive approach. Yeah. I'm always very upfront with my clients, and I'm like, if you're okay with that anticipated reaction, if you really want to like sprint to your results,
Yeah.
we can do that. But I'm letting them know that that is something that can happen. And if they don't want that, if they would rather walk or jog to their results, then they totally can.
Yeah.
And so just setting that expectation,
Totally.
it hasn't been an issue for my clients.
And I think that is like with any line, it's not just ZO. And I think ZO has obviously gotten like a bad rep in the esthetician community, but I do think that your communication is what's most important. Like you just have to be direct with your clients and let them know, hey, like what type of journey do you want to go, you know, with? Do you want it slow? Do you want to like you said, do you want to jog or run with your results? And it's okay to start slower. And I love that point that you made about med spas, because I literally like worked at med spas like here at ZO, and like everybody's skin barrier was trashed. And it just like, to me, I mean, what I'm hearing is like just guidance and making sure that clients are like on the right products. And that's why like for me, my skin is like more on the sensitive side. So I personally love Alpharet. Like that's like my ride or die, but
Alpharet's wonderful.
I'm definitely curious now to try ZO and those core products and then incorporate some other things as well. So I'm hearing your clients are loving the transition. And have any of your clients gone back to Skin Better? Are there any like key products that they're on? Or you kind of like transition them all to ZO?
I don't force them to switch. I'm like, if you love Skin Better, by all means, continue to use it. Use what makes you happy. Like Skin Better is wonderful, like I said. So if you don't want to make the switch, you definitely don't have to. But they trust me and they want to do whatever I believe in. And so they switch to it and they're like, changed my life. I don't miss anything.
Incredible. So I want to jump back a little bit. How long, just so people can get to know you a little bit, how long have you been an esthetician, and are you from Texas? I know that you're a little bit on the outskirts of Texas, so I want to hear a little bit about your journey.
I've been an esthetician for 5 years, and something that a lot of people don't know about me is that I was a makeup artist first. Well, an aspiring makeup artist, self-taught, and I played soccer in college, and I was sweating all the time, right? Because I'm like training. And the only time I had to do my makeup was at night. And so all my friends would be going out partying, and I just wanted to stay in my dorm and do my makeup. And I didn't care if I made $20,000 a year. I was like, I want to be a makeup artist, like after I graduate college. And then I was on a business trip with my husband because he works for a company called Cutco. Well, Vector. The product is Cutco. And he was like, you don't need to be here in this meeting. Like, this is going to bore you to death. Like, let me send you to go get a facial. So he booked me a facial at Hand and Stone. And the minute she put her hands on my face, I was like, tell me all about this career. Like, this is amazing. How much do you make? Like, if you don't mind me asking, like, tell me everything. This is so cool. And she was like, I make like $30 an hour, like on average. And I was like, I can live with that. You know, as long as I love it and I enjoy it, like who even cares? And so that kind of planted that seed in my head. I went home from that trip and I got a job at the Dillard's Lancome counter because I knew nothing about skincare. Like maybe I'd wash my face with like Clean and Clear, whatever. And my mom always said, oh, we're dark enough. We don't need sunscreen. And so I just like never used skincare. In fact, my husband was like religious about his routine. It wasn't a good one because he had no guidance. He had no esthetician, but I mean, he was doing it every single night, every single morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That must have been nice.
And so I got my feet wet with like learning about the Lancome skincare products. And then I worked there for like a year. And then after that, I enrolled at Aveda. Right out of school, I worked at a place called Face House, which is like a facial bar, open concept, whatever. Like you're not changing lives there, but it was really fun. It was a great place to get my feet wet. And then a year after working there, COVID hit.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So I ran the numbers at the end of every single month. And I was like, okay, after like tips and commission and my hourly, like I'm taking home $30 an hour on average. Some hours I would make $15. Some hours I would make $90, but it always without fail went to $30 an hour on average. But then when COVID hit, we went to half capacity. And so then I was making $15 an hour and I was driving like 30 minutes to work. And so my husband was like, this isn't worth it anymore. This isn't really like livable. Why don't you like open up your own business? And I was like, okay. And the rest is history. That was, I opened my business in September 1st, 2020.
Oh my gosh. Incredible. And what did you start with? What lines did you carry in the beginning?
Glymed, Face Reality. Oh my gosh, I made so many mistakes. I brought on so much retail. You don't need all that retail when you start out. You just don't.
I agree.
And I didn't niche down. I wish I would have just like focused on acne, but yeah, I had Glymed, Face Reality. I think a year in, I brought on DMK. Mm-hmm. And then...
Do you still do a lot of DMK?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't love their products. I think they're good, but just my approach to healing the skin, we're just not like aligned. Like I'm not like a holistic person. Mm-hmm. And so, well, that's kind of funny because I am scrunchy. Like as a mother, I'm scrunchy and I'm like a home birther, like no vaccines, like all that. Yeah. But with my skincare, I'm like, give me the retinol, give me the chemicals,
the balance.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh. And so I do like DMK products. I just don't really carry them anymore, but I do love enzyme therapy.
Okay.
I think it's really,
do you still
really
do
great.
a lot of that in the treatment room?
Not a lot because I don't get a ton of like anti-aging or mainly it's pigmentation and acne.
Okay.
That I'm seeing.
So talk about niching down and you bring on Glacial. How do you incorporate that with your treatments?
Glacial was a very easy sell for me because I'm an acne specialist. Acne involves inflammation and the Glacial helps reduce inflammation in the skin. So it fit like a glove in my practice.
Yeah. Do you do it more so an add-on or a standalone treatment?
Add-on.
Okay.
For sure. I mean, I've probably had 90% of my clients add on a Glacial Glide, or I'll include it in their, like if they're a membership, if they're like a holographic member, then they just get it included in their holographic hydrofacial or their microneedling every month.
What's a holographic? Is that your whole membership? What does your membership look like then?
Okay, so there's the holographic membership, which is $350 a month. That is a hydrofacial, and also it includes a peel, which I love to do the stimulator peel from Zio or Bio Repeel. And then they also get the Glacial Glide. Okay. So nice. It's like my perfect facial in one. It's results driven, but it also it's going to make you look like the back of a CD, which is why I call it the holographic hydrofacial. And so actually most of my members are holographic members. And then there's the silver membership, which is $150. That includes just a regular signature hydrofacial every month. Any add-ons you get at 10% off. Yeah. So you get a discount. Even if you add on Glacial Glide, you're still getting it at a discount. But I love combo therapy. Yeah. And so it was such an easy thing because I don't take a ton of clients a week. I'm a mother. Like I work in the clinic 2 to 3 days a week. Yeah. And so I wanted something where I could increase my revenue per client and also enhance their results without having to bring on more clients to make it make sense as an investment. Okay. So your main treatments then, is it hydrofacial, Glacial? What other treatments do you offer? Acne peels. And skin pen. Okay. I'm kind of moving away from pigment. Okay. Just because the journey with pigmentation and melasma and all that, they have to be really okay with being uncomfortable. Yeah. And they have to be very committed. And if they're not committed, that falls back on you. And they're like, well, why did my pigmentation come back? I'm like, Sally, you're not using a pigment inhibitor in your sunscreen like I told you to. Yeah. So it can be really tricky. And if your client isn't super committed, it can fall back on you. And then it's your fault. Totally. So I just don't love treating pigmentation unless it's the right client. But I love treating acne, even though that's kind of the same situation, but there's no downtime and not really any uncomfortability. Is that a word? I don't know. And so I feel like it's easier to like work with clients when it comes to acne and just facials. I love the hydrofacial. By far my best investment I've ever made in my business.
I completely agree. I mean, I've also considered Glacial. I think it's such a cool add-on, especially, but I do think that obviously you have to have the right clientele for it. Like if you're treating a bunch of pigmentation, in my opinion, like it wouldn't make sense if you're like
everything boils down to inflammation. But I agree with you. If you're niching in pigment.
And I feel like your acne clients are your most like loyal clients. And so I feel like to bring on a service that's specifically for them, they're like, I'll do whatever, sign me up. And they just do tie in like hand in hand, like a glove. I love that. And I feel like when you have like you said, when you don't niche down in the beginning, like, I mean, you're gonna like make mistakes in the beginning. So you carrying like the lines that you did, what was the biggest like mistake that you would say you made?
By the way, that's why Victoria has this podcast, because we made all the mistakes so you don't have to.
Absolutely.
But, I would say the biggest mistake that I made in the beginning was bringing on way too much retail. Retail is great as an additive to your business, but if you can't cover all of your overhead with your services alone, you have no business bringing on a ton of retail.
I completely
Until
agree.
you can fully, consistently cover all of your overhead and support yourself financially, then in my opinion, then it's time to bring on some retail. Now, of course, in the beginning, you need something. You need something to support their results. Yeah. I think we can all agree it's like an 80-20 thing. You need to be using good skincare to get your results. It's like going to the dentist, getting your teeth professionally cleaned, and then never brushing your teeth. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I think Face Reality is a great product line to start off with, especially if you're niching in acne.
Yeah, I agree. Face Reality was one of the ones that I invested in like 6 months into my business, and that completely transformed. Like I wish I would have just brought them on first sometimes. Now I was very like, I guess I feel like a lot of people do bring on Skin Better, but like that was one of my non-negotiables. I was like, I need Skin Better because like truthfully it may be my area that I'm in, but like I attracted like great clients just because I carried Skin Better.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. Skin Better, when I brought it on, it transformed my business because it attracted the people that were more like high dollar clients, more committed, like down to spend $150 on a moisturizer. And so as much as I don't want to bash Skin Better. Skin Better changed my business. Yeah. For the better. So I completely agree with that.
Business better, not skin better. Just kidding. My quirkiness is coming out. But anyways, I just think it's like the mistakes that you make in the beginning that like just really resonated with me of the retail thing. Because I was just carrying things to carry it. I didn't have a purpose for like, I have a $190 like vitamin C, but like nobody was buying that. Like, because I didn't have like the bases. I would have truthfully rather have just started with the basics of like a solid cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen. And then as I grew my clientele, like cherry picking those products. But I think retail is one of those things that you figure out as you go and what type of clients that you essentially like have and that you're trying to attract. So as far as like motherhood, I know that you're 6 months pregnant. That's so exciting. How do you manage it all? Like
I don't.
Yeah, I know. I get it. It's a tough battle when you have kids, but I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, and myself as well. Balancing, and what is your biggest takeaway with balance?
You know, they say that when you become a mother and you're caring for your young, like kind of like flamingos, they lose their pink when they have little flamingo babies to take care of. That happened to me this past year. And once I had my second child, it's like the wind was taken out of me. Like for my business, my motivation went away. I was like, okay, I can serve the clients that I have. I have a creative block. It's really taken until just now. I'm finally diving back into my business again. If you follow me, you've probably noticed I'm not nearly as active on my social media as I used to be. I used to post like so many funny reels and graphics and things like that. And I've just kind of been non-existent this past year. And I felt a lot of like guilt about that. And I guess don't have kids 20 months apart, but I don't even know how to balance it right now. Like I think just when you're at work, you're at work. When you're at home, you either are present. And if you're creating content, you separate yourself completely. You go to another room because you don't want your kids to see like, oh, mommy's always on her phone, right?
Exactly.
And so I guess just like compartmentalizing everything. And if you need to get work done, you leave the house or you go to another room and you dedicate that time fully to your business or whatever you need to get done, finances, you name it, whatever. And
I love the transparency because we don't have it figured out, right? Like we're trying the best that we can as mothers and business owners. And I love that you are just pouring into the clients that you have. And I think that's where like a lot of people, I mean, we feel this pressure to like constantly get new, I mean, at least I do. I feel like a pressure. I'm like, I need to get new clients in the door. But I don't want to be like in the tree, like, but I also like don't want to be on my phone 24/7. And so for me, like, I think balance is just whatever works best for you. And I think that like, I'm hearing that with you. I'm like, oh wow, like I still think you're present on social media. I see your stories all the time, but like that might look differently for you a year ago. So, I guess your advice was don't have kids 20 months apart, right?
I mean, I wouldn't have it any different,
I'm just
but
kidding.
It did. It took the wind from me.
Yeah.
It did.
Oh my gosh,
but
I know.
That's okay too. Like you can be in seasons of your life where you're not as focused on your business. I think that's the beautiful thing about this industry. You can go balls to the walls, work 5, 6, 7 days a week, doesn't matter. And you can make so much money. And I think when I first started this industry, I was like, I want to build an empire. I want this huge business. I want to make the most money and help the most people, like have both. Yeah. And then I had kids and I valued more like freedom and flexibility. Yeah. And serving the clients that truly like were meant for me. quality over quantity. And more time with my kids, just that balance.
I'm the same way. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like you can't get time back with your kids is what I'm trying to say. And
you can always make more money. You can't have more time.
Exactly. And I think that's like, even Chris and I, we literally have 2 days a week where we have a babysitter, we dedicate time to work. And the other, like, 5 days of the week we're with our kids. And I'm in the treatment room now about like 2 to 3 times a week. And I'm okay with that. I think that I'm okay with the growth that I've had. And like you said, serving the clients that you do have. Now, how many clients would you say you have like a week? Like how many days do you work?
I work 2 to 3 days a week, and I serve maybe 10 clients a week. I mean, it's not
amazing.
And you know what? If I ever get past that, I'm going to bring on somebody so that they can take the overflow. Yeah,
no. And it's hard when you have kids. I mean, Chris and I always talk about all the time. We're like, oh my gosh, how do people post and how do people do all this stuff when you have kids? It's like so overwhelming. And like, we've even like delegated some tasks out, like hiring an editor to like revamp our videos when we're feeling creative ruts, because it happens. Like, you get in your business and you're like, I'm ready to go. And then, 6 months later, you may not be in the same place that you were, that 6 months ago.
Right.
And again, that's where it comes back to like, it's okay to change. It's okay to evolve with like
ride that
your
wave.
Life.
When you want to be more in your mom era, do that. That's the great thing about this industry is you can have balance and you can still make great money. You can be a 6-figure esthetician and work 3 days a week. You really can.
Absolutely.
Or you can make multiple 6 figures and work your butt off. And you can have anything that you want.
Yeah. I guess it's like choosing your battles of like what's not necessarily more important to you, but like, where are you just going to invest what's important, what time is important for you in your business and in life. 'Cause I don't think that there's like, I don't know, true work-life balance, because it's so hard. Like, there's no right answer. It's whatever works best for you, right?
People will always try to steal your time, your money, or your energy. And for me, what I value most is my time. That's the one thing I can never get back. Yeah. And I can make more money later.
Absolutely.
That's just where I'm at right now.
I completely agree. Thank you so much. I think this was such a fun conversation, of course. I always just ask everybody, what is one piece of advice that you would give to a newer esthetician?
Oh, that's such a good question. I would say, so people always used to ask me, like, estheticians would DM me whenever I would post like Skin Better regimen that I just got my new client on. And these newer esties would be like, how do you get them to buy so much product? I'm like, because you don't ask them. You say, this is what I recommend. This is what's for your skin. I'm the expert. Like, and you don't even ask them. You just say, debit or credit. And you just assume the order. And don't be afraid. Like, if you're like, oh, so this is going to be like $1,500. Is that, okay? They're going to be like, well, no, because like you're not even confident about it. So I would say, ask for the order with confidence, assume the order, be the expert. I guess take clients that don't drain you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many clients I have had that just completely, like, I saw them on my schedule and I was like, no, not today.
I know.
So you have that power. If there's somebody who's draining you or a negative energy in your life, you don't have to serve them. They maybe not be for you. And just be authentically yourself on social media, and what is meant for you will come to you. Who is meant for you will come to you as a client.
Yeah, that is such great advice. That was like killer. I've never heard that one before. And I think confidence is key with everything.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for being on today's podcast. Where can people find you on Instagram?
At, what is it? I actually don't know. It's new. The Y2K SD. I think it's _Y2K_SD.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.